2017, 2018. In 2019, Mark Zuckerberg starts giving public speeches that he thought censorship on Facebook was going too far. But then he got hit with a $60 billion advertiser boycott. That is, Facebook lost $60 billion in market cap in 48 hours from this boycott. So then he folded like a lawn chair and gave them everything they wanted. That was 5 years before his letter just weeks ago to Chairman Jordan that he regretted folding to government pressure. That's how long he had misgivings about this. That's a formal U.S. government program dedicated to killing news websites, killing their advertiser revenue. And it's all there in black and white that you have the U.S. government contorting the private sector flow of dollars between independent arm's-length parties, news websites and tech platforms, and advertisers. And by the way, all these advertisers are hugely dependent on U.S. government contracts. Elon fired 85% of the company. How is it still working just as well, in fact, even better than it worked? Any major company fire 85% of its workforce and actually do better than it was doing before, let alone not suffer any setbacks or hiccups? Well, the answer is because so much of the ranks of Twitter 1.0 were all of these back channels, all of these trust and safety filter mechanisms, all these different touch points to all these different stakeholder interests for influencing the algorithm. Turns out, if you're just a free speech company, you don't need them. But the problem is, and in their own words, and my foundation, FFO, published a huge report on this a few months ago, where 5 of the major censorship industry insiders were all on a Zoom call, and they complained that when Elon took over X, and then Zuckerberg followed to some extent with some of the changes he made at Facebook and IG, that they lost the relationships it took years for them to develop. They lost the hooks into those companies to make sure that this narrative about mail-in ballots gets censored. This narrative about COVID gets censored.
We heard Elon Musk talk about this the other day with his own son and how he was essentially tricked into this, that unless you do this and sign this piece of paper, you may lose your son to suicide. That's how dark and devious these people are in selling this to parents and to others who may not be directly impacted by this with their own children, but who, I really believe we are by and large a compassionate people. But they're being sold lies about how, in the name of gender-affirming care, they are destroying our kids. It is a huge challenge because it's not just the universities and the doctors and the Democrat activists who are pushing this. They have the power of the mainstream propaganda media doing their work for them as well. You have big tech and social media companies, some of them, not X, but some of them, blocking certain narratives and using their algorithms to advance others. So
Chris Wray, the director of the FBI, and Rod Rosenstein were tasked with helping us at Congress, where I ran the Russiagate investigation, to expose Russiagate. We went to them and said, look, you guys didn't do this. Help us expose it. You know what they did? They launched an investigation against me. They used grand jury subpoenas to get my personal information, my banking information, my emails, my cell phone information, everything else. I didn't find out till 5 years later when Google called me and said, hey, our 5-year notification has lapsed. We can now tell you the DOJ surveilled you. And we had to turn over documents. We exploded that into a federal lawsuit that's still ongoing in the DOJ and FBI.
What? So Google informed you that you're being surveilled 5 years after the investigation started. What more did they tell you?
They're not allowed to say anything. As a former national security prosecutor, I know you don't just go to Google. You go to every provider. You go to all the telecoms. You go to the bank. You go to everybody. But these two guys who were running the FBI and DOJ sat in a room with the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee and lied to our faces. They threatened to investigate us. They actually did it.
I read that Elon Musk said that he would accept a position in your cabinet. Would that have to do with artificial intelligence?
So
if
Elon
you chose
and I
him?
have a great relationship. He's great. He is a totally unusual character. Do you know Elon at all?
I don't.
He's great. And he's smart. We have to cherish our geniuses. We don't have too many of them, right? But he is a brilliant guy. What he really would like to do is get involved in cutting some of the fat. And he does know how to do it. He loves the country. It's just an amazing thing. We had a conversation the other day, the biggest audience that there's ever been. I mean, would you say that's a correct statement?
I would absolutely say
There's
that's
never been
correct.
anything even close. I heard 750 million people. I put him in the cabinet, absolutely, but I don't know how he could do that with all the things he's got going. As the expression goes, consult with the country. Like on AI, there's nobody knows more about it than Elon.